much for joining me today. I am doing the look that you guys requested last week, the one that I was wearing in my favorites video. And I'm a little bit stuffed and not feeling too great, so please bear with me. But I thought this was perfect for Valentine's Day. It's very simple, very sultry. It doesn't look like you're wearing a ton of makeup. And especially if you're going on a date, I know the guys are just not a huge fan of someone who's totally made up. So especially this is a first date or something very new, and this is the perfect makeup look for you guys. I decided to do a fun little eye with a pop of color underneath that is not too jarring and should work with any color that you choose to wear. So if you guys want to see how to get this sort of really simple glam but something that's trendy and fun, then please keep watching. Per usual, I'm starting off with my Bobbi Brown corrector in dark peach just around my eye area. This is what I have to use because I'm so dark in here. If you're not, then obviously you would skip this step. But I like to do this before I put on any eyeshadow or primer, so that way this doesn't go anywhere. Then I'm putting on my Urban Decay Eyeshadow Primer. This is just my favorite one. You know the drill. Just put this on all over your eyelid before eyeshadow. Then I'm going in with Caramel by ABH Cosmetics and putting this just into my crease. I'm putting this much higher than my crease because my eyelid is so small and my crease is so small too that I like to draw it out higher to give the illusion of a rounder, more doe-eyed eye, as well as leave more space to do some lid work. So I'm rounding it out. As you guys can tell, I'm not dragging it out towards the outer corner of my eye and eyebrow. I'm giving it this round shape and pulling it up towards my eyebrow. This is Bengali eyeshadow by Nars. I'm picking up the tiniest bit and I'm putting it a little bit lower than where I placed Caramel, as well as on top of Caramel, but not all the way to the highest point, the way that I just placed the other eyeshadow. This is just to give a little bit more illusion of depth, but we're not making it very dark at all. Next is our main ingredient in this look, which is a Makeup Forever eyeshadow in M534. This is a matte eyeshadow, and you have to pack it on very strong. Make sure it's super bright because my matte eyeshadows have a tendency to fade throughout the day. As you can see, the other eye already looks faded. You just make sure you pack on a good bit of it and don't be too afraid if it looks much brighter than you anticipated. And then with the Tarte lid palette, I'm pulling up that lightest sort of neutral color and I'm using that as my highlight. Again, I'm doing a very light, very thin highlight just under my eyebrow. Then I'm going to use a blending brush and sort of marry the highlight and my crease colors together so that way there are no harsh lines at all. This is really important in all eyeshadow looks to keep blending until you feel like everything looks seamless. Next, I'm using a Tarte eyeliner, and this is a nice flat color, like a skin color, and I'm using this just in my waterline. Just make sure you don't put this on your hair because once you dye your hair there, then it's a lot harder to make that look black with mascara. Next, I'm going in with my Ben Nye Coral Peach and putting this just around my mouth area to color correct. I'm using a very light hand with this because I do have another product that I'll use a little bit later on to correct as well. So here I'm putting this in my upper lip area, corners of my mouth, which is definitely the most important for me. Here is my Makeup Forever new Ultra HD foundation in color 173, and I'm using my stippling brush from MAC. This is the 130 and putting this all over my face. Since you guys know how to do foundation, I'm going to go ahead and fast forward this so I don't bore you guys to death, but this foundation being so thin, I actually ended up getting another half a pump, which is crazy. I never ever use this much foundation. Also, you guys will notice on my forehead, I'm not going all the way to the top. I'm just getting the sides of my temples and just the center of my forehead. This is my Nars Luminous foundation that is in the color Syracuse. I'm mixing that with my Urban Decay Naked Skin Concealer in medium, and I'm using that under my eyes. I'm really liking how that looks together, so I'm just being a mixologist today and trying out something new. I'm putting that on with my same stippling brush, putting it in the center of my forehead as well, and on my chin, and I'm going to blend that out with a beauty blender. You guys know the drill here. Again, I'm going to go ahead and fast forward since it's not that complicated. I'm just going to go ahead and blend and blend and blend, pull this up all the way to my lash line, just make sure everything looks nice and clean and seamless. I love the color that this gives me. Then with whatever's left in my hand, I'm going to go ahead and use a brush and pull this down the center of my nose because I will be contouring later, so I needed to highlight a little bit. So just the center, I'm not going down to the bulbous part of my nose. Then I'm going in with Sephora's highlighter. I will link all the products down below so you guys know. This is the darkest one, and I think it's so pretty. I like to pat it on with my fingers, but you don't have to. You can use a brush. I just find that when I use a brush, I sometimes end up pulling out the foundation from underneath it. So that's why a patting motion is really highly recommended here. And this is such a gorgeous product if you want that sort of wet glow. And at first it looks so bright, but it definitely ends up going into your skin and looking much more natural than you would imagine. So that's why I'm leaving this long clip in here so you guys can see exactly how I'm working with it. I'm doing a lot of pressing, patting, and rolling just to make sure it really sinks into my skin. And of course, I'm not going to leave it like this. I will be putting on another highlighter on top to seal it in. But this is gorgeous, especially for all of you dry to normal skin girls. You might not even have to put anything on top of this to keep it on, but I do. But gorgeous, gorgeous highlighter. I'm obsessed with it. It looks super, super natural once on. Next, of course, I'm oily, so I have to powder my nose. I'm using my MAC Prep and Prime Loose Powder, just powdering down my T-zone just to make sure I don't get oily. And then I'm going to use my Laura Mercier Translucent Powder for my under eye area. Just make sure you don't go all over the highlight you put down or it will turn matte and all the shine will be gone. So you do have to be careful, but this is the best under eye powder ever because it really is super matte, therefore it really holds the product that you are wearing underneath, which is your concealer. Here I'm using my NARS Cheek Studio palette in that gorgeous orangey color and Nars Blush in Exhibit A as my eyeshadow. I've used Fix Plus on my brush and now I'm just putting that on. In this product that I'm using, I'm not using Fix Plus to get brightness because these blushes are already so pigmented. I actually use Fix Plus because the first blush that I use has some sheen to it and I wanted that to be able to stand out. So make sure you get your lower lash line and then curve it upward onto your actual lid so that way everything is blended in together. Next, I'm using MAC's Mineralize Skinfinish in the color Dark. And this is my new Holy Grail product. I'm obsessed with it right now. And I use this to bronze and to liven up my skin. I love how natural this looks. So I'm using this on the top of my forehead because my forehead is humongous. Also down and then the hollows of my cheeks and the side of my temples. But again, this is not a mandatory product. You only want to darken areas of your face that you think are too large and that you want to draw attention away from. But not everyone's face is going to need this. Some faces won't need it at all. So don't feel like you have to do every single thing that I'm doing. I also like to use this in the areas that I color corrected. As you guys can see, I'm going over my chin and the sides of my mouth. And that also helps take away some of the grayness and bring back some life. Now I'm using Java by Anastasia Beverly Hills. It's a contour color, and I'm going to go in and lightly contour my cheekbones, not much. I want this to still be very fresh face and dewy, so I'm not going for a super sculpted look. Then I'm going in with the Laura Mercier powder and just baking it underneath my contour, just that way I can clean that up a little bit later and get a sharper, more defined line. But again, I'm not doing anything intense. Then with my Brow Wiz in Dark Brown, also by ABH, I'm going to go ahead and sculpt out my brows, except my camera is going to die in a second here. So you guys won't see the whole thing, but you guys already get the picture. You know how to do your brows. I just thicken mine a little bit. Then I'm using my Nars Blush from the Craving Duo that I have. This is the perfect one because it's so glowy and pretty. And I'm putting this onto the apples of my cheeks and pulling back a tiny bit. But mostly I'm sticking to the apples of my cheeks just because I want a youthful glow. And I don't want to look like an old person. That is why I'm using so much product that has, shine and sheen to it, because I feel like that makes you look much more youthful. Then I'm going to go ahead and layer some Opal highlighter by Becca Cosmetics on top of my Sephora one. And these two colors together I feel like look amazing. And I feel like they're the same exact color, just in powder versus liquid form. So love that. Next, I'm going to go ahead here with some more Java and contour my nose. You guys already know how I do this. That's why I fast forwarded this as well. Next, I'm going to go ahead and wipe off the Laura Mercier powder so that way you guys can see the clean, more sculpted look. Here, I'm going to go ahead and use Strip Down Lip Liner by MAC. This is a recent discovery. I've had it for years but haven't used it much. I also really like the color correcting way that this works on my lips. It does a good job of erasing my natural lip line, which is exactly what I wanted for this look. Then I'm gonna go in with Buff lipstick by Alamasca, and I'm gonna go ahead and put that on. I wanted a super nude, super young, and, you know, fun looking lip. So this is a nude right here with no lip line whatsoever. And I'm gonna go ahead and put on Runway Fave lip gloss by MAC on top of that to look really juicy, and again to have that youthful look. I'm going for that all the way in this look, and I didn't want to do any of the liquid lipsticks. Here's the final look. I put on some lashes. Now I'm putting on some mascara underneath it. And make sure you get your bottom lashes as well. If you somehow manage to get mascara on the orange of your under eye, then just foil some more of the two colors together and layer it right on top. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, that you learned something new. Don't forget to give this a big thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. If you have any questions or comments, post down below and I'll be sure to get back to you guys. Bye!